And we're back. And if you're joining us right now, we are shifting gears and talking all about an exciting new Belizean series. You just saw a clip of it, and that is Countryman. And joining us to tell us all about this new series, we've got the director in our studio, and that's Tariq Young. And we also have
Morning.
an actor who you just saw on the screen, Tremette Perriott,
Morning,
starring
morning,
in
Belize.
Countryman. Good morning, guys.
Morning, morning.
Morning. Thank you for having us here today.
Thank you for coming in. Super exciting topic to talk about. So let's just jump right into it and talk about what Countryman is. So Tariq, perhaps you can start.
Well, Countryman is a series that focuses on Gerald and Larry and their extended families and acquaintances that face a situation of changing environment in their village, in the town that they live in, and how these changes have impacted them directly, as well as how it's impacted their extended community, their families. It's a series that explores different ideas with the central theme being change and adaptation to change. But we also, through the series, explore concepts of the family structure, traditional roles of the family, how economic gentrification can impact a community and a nation, at a micro and a macro level.
What's the inspiration behind the writing? I understand it to be Belizean influence in terms
Yes.
of getting that Belizean tradition in there.
We proudly say that this is an authentically Belizean story. We want to mention that it's fully casted Belizean cast, fully produced Belizean production, fully financed Belizean production, and fully crewed Belizean production. The founder of Beeswood and our business partner Roy Turner, along with the other lead actor, Mr. Gilden Rowland, were the ones that initially conceptualized the short story of Countryman, about this mechanic who faces certain challenges because of the changing environment of his community. And from there, when we initially began the project in 2019, we saw that the potential and the relatability of this topic in the current situation then, decided to extend it to a longer story with the intention of it being a feature, and then it evolved to its current form of the miniseries. Wrote the screenplay as a story that's really about people, and the everyday person. And we believe that there's a story to be told from every Belizean experience, and our motto being bringing Belize to Hollywood, meaning that we get a chance to shape our own narrative, to tell the stories that are truly Belizean to the world. Where, previously we have experience where people, come in and they kind of dictate what the story is and their impressions of it. Well, we wanted to be able to create opportunity to tell our own story in our own voices.
Now, of course, we have one of the actors in the film with us by way of Mr. Parrot. Mr. Parrot, tell us, what's your role in the film and how excited is it for you to see this thing finally come to life?
Well, I mean, I'm the mechanic.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that people don't like. It's for better, lack of better terms. No, my nieces don't like me now.
Oh, you mean outside of the film?
No, with the film.
Oh, yeah.
I love my nieces.
This thing is transitioning into your personal life now.
Yeah. It's a wonderful movie. I'm glad to be a part of it. When Tariq had asked me, this is years ago, right? Two years? 2 years?
At least 2.5 years.
I didn't even know what the character was about. I didn't even understand the concept of the entire movie and the purpose of it. He just asked me to do it. And I guess I'll be in there. And from what I've seen, just through the processes of being on set, right? The importance of identifying our Belizean issues, right? Is singularly very important for the development of the artist industry in our country. I find that we overlook these things and we allow, as Tariq said, people to come in and dictate how things should be, and it is contrary to what happens here. And this one, this one hits a nerve. And I think that when people start to pay attention to it, they'll be like, oh yes, that's true, that. Oh yes, that's true, that. Yes, man, they talk exactly. I see that happen.
The response has been overwhelmingly positive, and I think what's endearing to us is that people personalize it. People like
But that's what you want to
Yeah,
do. That's the whole point, right?
Trimet plays a bit of the antagonist in the story. He's a little bit of our villain. And people generally
Little.
don't like him. People that don't know him don't
Little.
like him. Our lead character has been getting offers as if this was a documentary as opposed to a film, you know, which again speaks volume about the appreciation of the work and the audience that's out there for Belizean content. You know, and we are extremely grateful for everybody that's looked at it so far, and we are really hoping that people give it a chance, gravitate towards it, so that we can continue producing more of this content.
It's slices and splices of life
Definitely a
that
slice of life.
legitimately can happen, does happen in Belize. I'm a fan of all things Belizean, and I'm sure you guys are as well. And so to actually, I've read through the entire script countless times. The
spoilers,
and we've
no
changed it. It's been changed so often, you know. So what you've read and what you're seeing, so slightly depending on what's available to us, but the concept of it is something that I think people will internalize, right? Because these are things that are happening to them or around them, little microcosms of our little communal upbringings and stuff like that, little small places that we grew up in, not necessarily physically, but socially, harp on issues like this.
As an actor in the film, your honest perspective, honest opinion, how does it stack up against films in other parts of the region or the world, despite its uniqueness in terms of depicting the Belizean identity?
I see what you're asking. If we could match up against the international market, then I think we can. I think we can. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily, and I'm going to say, we don't have the budget like many of those mega production companies. Even in other countries where they say small budgets, not really small budget.
A micro budget for SAG, which is the Screen Actors Guild, their consideration for a micro budget is $100,000 US.
Well,
you know, that's considered micro. That's not low budget. That's not low budget starts at $1 million. You know, 500,000 to $1 million. So, you know, we're not playing with that kind of resources because our industry isn't necessarily developed to that level. You know, I like to say that we're in the infancy stage of the film industry in Belize. We're learning to walk. But we believe this kind of project, because it was very important to me as a director, producer, DP of this, that the quality and the standard is at the highest level. You know, my business partners, Roy Turner and Melissa Arnold, have made a conscious effort to invest and make the investments necessary so that we are competitive to that stage. Because bringing Belize to Hollywood means that our intention is global. It's not just for it to be a localized production or initiative in any way. Our onus is to grow the industry and to kind of help to elevate the standard of what kind of content can be produced in Belize. We missed a golden opportunity during the pandemic when people were glued to their screens and had to be, and were starved for content. What did we really, as a nation in the industry, have to offer, you know, to that standard? So I looked at that and I kind of took it personal, because I've been back home in Belize for since 2014, working with the industry, formerly the president of the Audiovisual Association, and working to kind of build the industry. And I felt that we were lagging behind. And when the opportunity came to work with my two business partners, Roy and Melissa, and they were willing to put money where the mouth is, to say like, well, let's do something. Let's start to create this content so that we can kind of help drive it forward and make this kind of thing available at the highest standard.
Let me just answer the question. Yes, I do think it is comparable with international films. And I think that we do have a unique market, as all things Belizeans, just like when Andy went and took the Garifuna Collective. We do have a unique market that is unlike any other, even in the Caribbean. These issues are directly Belizean and makes us unique.
It's also relatable across
all cultures. To an extent, yeah. I mean, it might not happen in places that don't have the diversity of culture, right? But they can relate in some aspect of it, especially the familial one. And the familial, the Gerald and his wife one is going to get interesting in a minute. They don't tell her tired, yo.
I think he's like my Tom Holland for the Marvel series. I gotta watch Trim it that he doesn't give too many spoilers.
Yeah, but shh. Right, well, yeah.
And I think, I suppose for you, especially as the director, executing what your vision for the movie must have also been, or what was it like to execute it, especially knowing that you want to transmit certain things and you want it to resonate with not only Belizeans but possibly also a larger audience. So how do you keep your vision focused and clear with what you have in mind?
For me, it starts, continues, and ends with story. The story is the master of this entire operation. So everything we do visually, everything we do technically, begins at the story. And we had a unique challenge in regards to the COVID pandemic and being able to continue production, because like everything else, we had to grind to a halt and figure out how we kind of continue to develop this story through the COVID situation. And what's important to me is that the representations are true, being cognizant of mannerisms, of the vernacular used, the language used, the setting. Everything we wanted first when Belizeans first see it, they recognize, yeah, that's us, and then they're absorbed into the story.
Yeah.
Because if the story is strong but the visuals that accompany it are diminished, you don't get the full impact. And we want it to be an immersive experience, down to the point where the music is developed by an original a Belizean producer, Sir Echo Middleton. The sound effects, everything, the minute details are very important to be true to the vision of what this represents. You know what I mean? So that process, with the addition of having to navigate COVID protocols, people's schedules, all that stuff, and not get kind of too absorbed into the process and remain true to what the original intention and vision of the project is, but still being open to evolve as the situation and circumstance dictates. Because like Tremet mentioned, when you plot something out in your head, you already envision this is what it's going to be, and then you get on set, and it's like, it's not quite exactly what it is, or this element's changed. But as long as I think that we're identifying where the story is going and the changes that we make still don't compromise that, we're able to execute the vision successfully.
You have
and
to
I
be
think
fluid.
Most definitely.
Have to be fluid.
Yeah.
And I was going to also ask you the same question. I think Paul kind of touched on it earlier, because when you read a script, then you would have an idea of what your idea of what the character is, and then how to translate that onto screen, and what you identify with and what you want people to see as well.
You've read books, right?
Yes.
Have you seen the movies for those books?
Yes.
Different or the same?
Different.
For whatever reason, what you see on paper is the ideal dream. We wish if we could deliver, if mega movies, Lord of the Rings, Matrix, all of those large movies could deliver what was on that book, people would be blown away in movies. Unfortunately, certain things, constraints, reality kicks in, and it's difficult to do. And as an actor and as a performer and as a director, he's very fluid when it comes to adapting to situations, and that is good, because I've been in situations where people have trouble adapting to what we have, right? There's this saying, one of the major lines in 300. Oh, our arrows will blot out the sun, and then we shall fight in the shade. He's good at that.
One of the things you made mention of earlier that I totally agree with and I love about the this particular series, because I did get an opportunity to watch the first episode, is that unique Belize identity that is depicted. I mean, when I first watched the series, I was like, wait, that Creole. I could relate to a lot of what they're saying. It brought me a sense of joy, a sense of peace, a sense of identity, that belongs to me.
Yeah.
That is a part of my identity. And if ever anybody asks me, what's a Belizean production that you would recommend to kind of get an idea into what the Belizean culture and traditions are like, I could say, hey, maybe you want to take a look at this because it's also a good story apart from all that you get to know and learn about Belize and Belizean culture. It's a discussion that we've had on this set before in terms of the importance of Belizeans or Belize presenting its own identity to the world versus outsiders making an attempt to show what Belize
From their own perspective.
is like and Belizeans are like from their own
First, I like to
perspective.
say thank you so much because that's the highest form of compliment we could ever aspire to get and receive. And for the responses like that is why we've done this. For Belizeans to be so proud of this work that they're willing to show it, they're willing to share it, that is a true representation. So first of all, thank you so much for that. And you're hired for sales for this.
Sure.
You know, and as you're right, you know, having worked in the industry for so long, I've been a part of film in the U.S. since 2004. Whenever we see if you Google Belize right now, I always think about what are the things that are going to pop up. You know, what are the things that people are going to see and know about us? And unfortunately, a lot of the time it's in a negative space. So we wanted to be able to offer real insight on what the daily life, something that's gravitated towards people that they love is the breakfast scene. You know, there are very quotable lines throughout the film, a lot of them coming from Tremet. You know, but seeing cheese like that, you know, you can't serve porta bonito cheese. That's something
That's frying pan me, I catch it like that.
but it's presented in such a way that even if you're not Belizean, you get the context, you get the understanding, you get the overall theme, and that's our goal for every scene. So working with the actors and working, you know, with them, getting their input in terms of how authentic is this? Because I wrote the screenplay version of the film as well, but that's from my perspective too. So it's also important when we get on set working with the actors to get an understanding. Like one of the first things I always ask them, does this feel real to you? How does that feel? How does that feel to you? Do you see yourself saying that? Do you hear that being said around you?
Right.
You know, and I think that helps it to have that feeling of authenticity that we strive for.
And apart from showcasing Belizean culture, you know, in a general sense, what are some of the other themes or things that the story will expose that you hope that the viewers will take away, or maybe even lessons, you know?
Well, I believe the path of filmmaking gives a unique opportunity to present conversations that are oftentimes uncomfortable.
This one is very uncomfortable.
And there is potential for the themes explored in this to be divisive because we talk about racial prejudices. We talk about the traditional family roles and dynamics of breadwinners in the home. We talk about the roles children play in terms of influencing, you know, the thoughts of the parents' actions. One of the things I could speak directly over, you know, that saying children are to be seen and not heard. We kind of, in our own way, take a direct conversation towards that. Our goal is to be, if this project at the end of the day can inspire conversation, we've done our job well. It's not necessarily to state a point exactly or to give an opinion one way or the other. It's presenting this real situation that deals with all of these things, like racial injustice, like economic gentrification, like you know, mental health. You know, all of these themes, loyalty, friendships, all of these relationships and themes are covered in this small, limited series. But and we encourage people to check it out and let us know if we've accomplished those goals, because that is the goal, for us to be able to touch on these things. And narrative film, gives a unique opportunity to be able to do that.
And you know, on that note, because we are actually running out of time, you can talk a little bit about how people can access it if they want to view it.
Well, the series is out now. Episode 1 and episode 2 are out on our YouTube channel. It's Beeswood. Just search Beeswood on YouTube. BZEWOOD.
Cameraman, see it there?
Right there on your shirt. And you'll be able to access episode 1 and 2. It was very important to us to make this also accessible, so that's why we've taken the route of putting it on YouTube so that you can share, you can like it. We're on Facebook, all social media as Beeswood. So Instagram, Facebook, beeswood@gmail.com. You know, we have more projects coming down the pipeline. This is just the first. of the projects. We have a feature film slated to begin shooting next year called Culture Clash. We have other series, we have documentary projects that we're working on. So this is really the first to introduce the level and quality of our work and the intention behind our work to the world. So I really encourage all Belizeans, all viewers, open your eyes, to go check it out, to look up Beeswood on YouTube, and you can see Countryman, and we're excited to hear what you think. You know,
have you heard any responses so
oh
far?
yes, very much so. Like I said, our gentleman here is.
Joe, if you see me on the street, please. After you've watched this, please. No, it's just acting.
And it doesn't get better for the ones that have tuned in already and have been up to episode 2. It doesn't really get better for Larry.
No.
You know, but people have been overwhelmingly receptive to it. Compliments, just like your co-host just gave to us. You know, that's kind of been what the response has been. And the following that we've gained from it, you know, we're humbly at about 3,500 total viewership since its launch on the 19th. That's been largely organic. It hasn't been heavy promotion behind it. You know, that's been people sharing in the diaspora, people we've been told that it's reached to the shores of Nigeria, in the Caribbean, all across the US and in Belize. So we hope to be able to bring it to a larger audience as well. And through that kind of support, if people watch it, if people comment, if people share it, the way that we've structured in terms of our passive income and the different revenue streams, that's what helps us to be able to make more of this. Because we're still in the process of finalizing the last few episodes. The actors haven't even been allowed to see the end of the script yet until they get shooting day, you know, so we're still in production. We're still looking for partnerships to help bring these kinds of production as a continuous thing. Because I believe in terms of growing the industry, we can't be so dependent on waiting for a film to come in to do it. The way to create a sustainable industry is through consistent work, to gain that experience. The more you do, the better you get at it. So our approach is to do more of this kind of content. You know, and if you think Countryman is good, just wait till you see what we got coming down the pipeline.
You have a lot of scripts to be written.
Oh, too many. You know, my business partner Roy is our lead writer, and every time I talk to him, hey, I got 4 more story ideas.
wow.
I said, okay, Roy, let's do it. We'll get to it. So expect a lot coming from Beeswood down the pipeline, and look out for the next episodes coming out. I'm working very hard on making this one be a double feature. So, you know, bear with us. We appreciate everybody in the fan base. You know, special thanks to Roy Turner and to Melissa Arnold, who are our executive producers and co-owners of Beeswood. I want to give thanks to all the cast and the crew. You know, especially the crew behind the scenes and the cast. It's been since 2019. Through different SIs, through different curfews, through everything that we've stuck together as a unit in the family to make this come to light for the Belizean people to enjoy.
Well, you know, guys, thanks again for coming in. That's I think a great place to end the conversation for this morning.
Thank you for having us.
So once again, that is Countryman. It's available on the Beeswood YouTube channel. Yes. You can also look up Beeswood on all forms of social media if you want to learn more about this and other upcoming projects. And we hope, we wish you the best of luck with the release of the other episodes and future projects.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You guys have a wonderful day.
All right.
Thank you, Belize.
And with that, we're going to be taking a short break. And when we come back, we'll be wrapping up our show. So please stay tuned and we'll be right back.